Alright, YouTubers, what's going on? It's Thursday night. It's about 10:30 p.m. Texas time. That great old state of Texas, people. Alright, so we're just going to do an update today. I know the last videos I did were of the Techno and the LRP .32 with the Novorossy race carb. It is a 3-needle carb. The part number on this carburetor, for you guys that are interested, is 24067, I do believe. 24067. There's a 24066. It is also a 3-needle carb. And then there's another one that's just a 2-needle carb, but I'm not sure what that part number is. I didn't really look it up. At the time, I was just interested in getting a race carb on this LRP. Now I have 3 Novorossy race carbs. All of them are the 6.7s. So we almost got the 8T back ready to bash. Only thing I'm waiting on here is my Sky RC or my ProTech switches, which should be here tomorrow. Either tomorrow or Saturday, no later than Monday, but they were supposed to be here today, and on the tracking it says it's running late but is on the way, so I'm hoping it's just like a day late, although it doesn't show it in San Antonio yet. Usually things will hit San Antonio first, and then the next day they come up here to the lake and are distributed from the post office at the lake, unless it comes UPS or FedEx. But a lot of things will come first class U.S. Postal Service, so that's how that works. So just waiting on the switch on the 8T. The other thing I have that should be here tomorrow for the 8T is the King Head's rear chassis brace. I wanted to get that a long time ago, so I was buying some stuff the other day, so I went ahead and just got it. We already have the front chassis brace and the top chassis plate. This is more of a Losi style plate, but the 2 braces, front and rear, will be King Heads. Okay, so this is after the runaway and the crash that I had. Replaced the turnbuckle end on this one right here. Replaced it. Usually when something like that happens, if they pop out like that with force, they'll be kind of wallowed out a little bit, so it's usually best just to go ahead and replace the actual the rod end on it. So that, I've got the new servo in here with the TLR aluminum servo horns, so she's ready to go. Just waiting on the switch and the rear chassis brace. We'll run that again real soon. I probably want to take it out to that field as well and open up that Rex Legend 28.8. As far as the Techno with the LRP .32, I've got 2 outerwears coming for these motor savers. Y'all know my situation with outerwears. That's been all cleared up, so we're good. It was actually an internal issue in their department, not me. The guy was very apologetic to me about the whole situation and the way it should have been from the beginning. So we've got a couple of outer savers coming for these. You really need them too, because there's always like a little you know, you can see it doesn't cover all the way. I'm not sure why that is, but you can always see some of the outer foam filter there, so the outerwear will take care of that. So everything's good on this one. We got the I've got the ProTech glitch busters in all of my units. I have not checked on the external fail safes that they have for Nitro. I haven't even checked on it yet. I think we're just going to continue to run these glitch busters and the switches, and I think we'll be good. Make sure our servos are proper. So I love this Techno, man. Look how easy and smooth all these bearings are. Easy rolling, man. Same thing with the 8T. The only thing with the 8T, it's not running as smooth because it's sitting on this rubber right here on the what I call a muggy style stand. And by the way, I had made this stand before I ever even saw muggy stands. But yeah, it was a good idea, Muggy. But it rubs the flywheel, or I don't know if it's the flywheel or the spur gear, one of them rubs on the actual pad there. But this one's smooth as butter as well. So I think this has a lot to do with is quick, you know, that this Techno is out there in that field. That, and then I'm, you know, obviously I was running the LRP a bit lean. A couple of people said that probably my low was a little bit lean, but man, that may be true, but I'm almost positive my high was a little lean as well. So next time we get the vehicle and the chassis and the engine heat saturated, we're going to bring that down a little bit. We're going to richen it up just a tad. Doesn't need much, just a little bit. I like it when it's spanking that rear out there in the field, but I don't want it too lean. I actually took the engine apart and inspected everything. Everything looks good. The top of the piston's golden brown. No problems, no issues, no real dark spots or anything like that. Now I am running two of the brass fittings or grommets, whatever you want to call them, the washers for the Iridium LRP R5 plug. I've been running 2 of those, and that's probably saving that piston head, because I know, I've never seen it, but I know that they can chip the top of the piston head because they're so close. So anyway, guys, one other thing that let's go through the rest of it, and I'll tell you what I'm contemplating here. The OS VZB is getting real close to being broke in. Not completely, but enough to where we can start opening her up. So we want to do a little bit more on this to get her broke in, but she's real close. Also on here, what I'm waiting on for this one, you see I've got the ProTech, the glitch buster, installed already into the bind port on the FlySky receiver. We're going to go ahead and hook the FlySky back up to this with the Reedy 1900 milliamp Lifey battery. I'm going to run this Lifey battery and we're going to see what they're all about. If it's got good punch, if it's comparable to the 2S LiPo. I think the LiPos are 7.4 volts and the Lifeys are, I think it's 6.6 volts. I don't have my glasses on. Well, they're actually right there, but hell, I can't see half the time with my glasses on. So, crap. So we'll see how these are, and if they're still giving me good run times and good punch, then we'll buy all Lifeys for all my receiver packs. What else are we waiting on? I've got my Bones Brew coming. I've got 2 gallons of Bones Brew that should be here. It says that it takes a little bit longer for the Bones Brew to get here. But man, I tell you, my experience already on this 1.5 gallons that I ordered, I'm really impressed with it. It's good stuff, and I think you guys should know that it is a good alternative for the high price of the Byrons. I've used more of my Bones Brew than I have my Byrons fuel. Of course, I'm specific to each vehicle what I'm running. I'm running strictly the Byrons in the LRP, and the Bones Brew I'm running pretty much in everything else. So that's probably why I've gone through more of it. But I really like the Bones Brew. It's $32 for 1 gallon plus shipping. So it's about $13 cheaper to my door than the Byrons. I mean, I know there's some people that can get Byrons like at their local hobby shop, and that's not the case for me. The only hobby shops that we have 3 hobby shops here in San Antonio, and all they carry is VP. So, and that's because the VP plant is right out on Highway 90, basically I-10, just a little bit outside of San Antonio there, going towards Houston. So their plant's there. It's only natural that the city is saturated with it. So I did get some more MP in yesterday. Love my MP. If you guys can afford it, it's good stuff. Otherwise, go ahead and use your WD-40. It's going to be just as good for you. The MP's just better. So, and MP is not really cheap. It's 2 cans. I paid, this last time I paid $17 to my door, shipped and everything, for 2 cans of MP. It's actually a little bit higher than that, but I've got an account with them, so anybody interested in getting some MP, I could probably let you use my actual account number. So I like to pass that on, but don't think you have to buy that stuff. WD-40 will work just as well as far as a lubricant, even an after run. Now, I don't use my MP solely as an after run. My after run consists of MP, it consists of air tool lubricant, and it consists of a little bit of 3-in-1, as well as this right here, Marvel Mystery Oil. So MP, 3-in-1, air Napa air tool lubricant, and Marvel Mystery Oil. Now, you don't have to put the 3-in-1 in there. This is, you know, you could probably do 3-in-1 and your WD-40 and your Marvel Mystery Oil for you guys that are trying to keep costs down. That's going to do you just as well. So that's just my process that I use right there, and I haven't had any more. At one point, I had opened up the MaxStar .28, and I had just a tiny bit of rust in there on the crank. But ever since I upped my game on the MP, I started using a little bit more MP in my concoction, and I haven't had any more issues. I've taken apart the OS, I've taken apart the LRP .32, I've taken apart the Novorossi Rex Legend 28.8. So, oh, and I've also taken apart the Dynamite right here. So this was my very first sealed back plate. I actually cut the pin off of this one. The Big Red doesn't have a removable pin. You have to cut it off. Now the stock Dynamite .28, the one that I've got in the LST2 that came in my stock 8T, is in here. That one had a removable pin. But just so you know, if you get the Big Red .28 and you want to put a back plate, you either have to replace the crank or just cut that pin off. Just make sure that it's cut off flush and even, and maybe polish it up a little bit so there's no burrs or anything. Other than that, guys, how much time we got? Man, need better glasses. Alright, we're good. So other than that, guys, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be pulling the OS VZB .21 out of the Hyper 7. We're going to put it on the shelf for a little bit, let her take a nap, and we're going to put the LRP .32 in the Hyper 7. We're going to go a little bit further in our durability testing, and we're going to run the LRP 32 in the Hyper 7 with the 41001 and the 9886. So you guys can look for that. Once I get these other parts in that I'm waiting on, y'all can count on a video probably maybe the beginning or middle of next week. We'll go ahead and throw the LRP in there and run the dog crap out of it. Let's see how durable the Hyper 7 is. We've already done it with the Novorossi Rex Legend 28.8. So let's put the .32 in there. Let's put the Chinaman 32 in there and see what happens. I'm sure there's not going to be any issues. Like I said, we're going to bring the tune down a little bit on it, so it's not running so lean. We were lean and mean out in that field, man. It was running like a bat out of hell for sure. But a lot of it is not just the nitro engine. It's also how your vehicle, your platform, your whip, how it's set up. You know, if your bearings are good, if everything is smooth, there's no binding, none of that crud. Your end points, for those guys who think I've had issues with my end points are perfectly set up on all my vehicles, so no problems there. Oh, also, we won't run the LRP until, that's the other thing that's coming tomorrow, is my Servos blacks, my whole high voltage Servos blacks that we're going to put in here. That was the whole purpose of breaking this thing down and getting the Lifey battery and the ProTech and all that. So some of you guys out there are considering those ProTechs. ProTech makes a 100 or a 10, what is it, a 100T or a 10T and a 300T. It might be a 10T and a 30T, one of the two. The 30T, I don't know if it's 30T or 300T, one of the two, I'll have to look it up. But the 10 is just a regular servo. The 30 is a high voltage servo, and that one had some pretty good reviews as far as its longevity and its speed and its torque and all that. But almost every review, the reviewer said that there was a lot of jitteriness, a lot of twitching and stuff in it. So keep that in mind when you go to get that ProTech servo, whoever out there's doing that. I try to read up on my reviews on anything that I buy as far as servos. I researched these Servos blacks. I think it's the Ryan Cavalieri. I think that's how you say it, Ryan Cavalieri. They're supposed to be really good as well. They're only like $10 more than the Servos blacks, just the straight up black high voltage servos. So you guys might want to consider that as well. I'm sticking with these Servos blacks high voltage. The one went out here, but that's because I did not have my endpoint correct. That's what prompted me to really bear down and concentrate on those endpoints. As far as, you know, I've always been pretty good on my throttle and braking, but your steering has to be set too. You know, you can't be going too far one way or the other and stressing it out. If you hear any type of humming or glitching or anything like that, then probably your endpoints are not set proper. So I don't have any of that on here. Now obviously when you're giving it throttle or turning, you're gonna hear some stuff, but when your vehicle's on and your battery's on, everything's ready to go, you know, green light, you shouldn't have a lot of humming or trying to center itself and stuff like that. Especially if you're running a glitch buster on there, it should be silent and smooth. That's what I have observed over this whole servo debacle, servo research that I've been doing. So alright guys, that's gonna be it. I've had a horrible toothache. I've got a tooth infection. I had to go to the dentist yesterday and I'm on antibiotics and stuff, so try and get that worked out. I'm gonna go to bed here in a minute, and I do have to work all the way through Sunday, so if you don't get a video from me over the next couple of days, my apologies. But just as soon as I get time and get these parts in and stuff, I'll show you all the new parts as they come in, and we'll get this LRP all bolted up to the Hyper 7, and we'll give it a rip. So until then guys, y'all have a great Friday, y'all have a great weekend, and remember, treat people the way that you would want to be treated. So by the way, I'm lined up over the next 6 weeks to have a lot of dental work done, so I may be out a few days or a week or whatever while that's getting done, but in the long run it's going to be better for me, healthier for me. People always take care of your teeth. My problem was